Hey everyone, let's kick things off with a pretty wild question. What if you could build a really complex, professional-looking user interface, but without writing a mountain of code or using some drag-and-drop tool? We're going to dive right into that. So take a look at this. You've got navigation tabs, different sections, all kinds of input boxes, radio buttons, checkboxes, the works. If your boss told you to build this from scratch, what's the first thing that comes to mind? You're probably thinking about front-end frameworks, CSS, just a ton of code, right? Well, just hold that thought. Because what if I told you that this entire complex interface was generated automatically from just one single structured text file? Yeah, it sounds a little bit like magic, I know. But it's an incredibly powerful and honestly super efficient way to build UIs. And today, we're going to break down exactly how it works. To really get this, we just need to wrap our heads around one central idea. Instead of us writing code to build the interface piece by tiny piece, we're just going to describe what we want it to look like. And then we let the system do all the heavy lifting for us. This whole approach has a name. It's called a declarative UI. And it kind of flips the whole process on its head. Instead of writing instructions like, okay, draw a box right here, then put this text inside it over there, you just declare, I want a section and I want a text box in it. You just describe the end result you're after, and the system figures out the how. And what that really means is you get faster development and way, way easier updates later on. So that text file we mentioned, it's actually an XML file, which is just a way to structure data. It acts as our powerful blueprint. Every single tag, every line in this file becomes a specific instruction, telling the system exactly what component to build and where it needs to go. Okay, so let's start deconstructing this blueprint. And let's start at the very top. How do we create the main pages? The navigation tabs for our whole application. So our blueprint has this really clear hierarchy. The entire document, the whole thing, is wrapped in a form tag. That's the master plan. Then inside of that, each menu tag represents one of those main navigation tabs you can click on. And then within each menu, we use section tags to group all the related stuff together. So form, menu, section. Simple as that. And this slide shows it perfectly. On the left, you see the Connection Settings tab in the final UI. And on the right, that's the single line from our blueprint that created it, a menu tag with the name Connection Settings. It's a direct one-to-one relationship. One tag creates one whole page. It's that straightforward. Okay, so we've got our pages. Now what? How do we start organizing all the content inside of them? How do we create those nice, neat little boxes that group similar settings together? Well, you probably guessed it. It's the exact same principle, just one level down. See this timeout settings box in the UI? It was created by just one section tag in our blueprint. You give it a name, and the system automatically groups everything you put inside it into that bordered box. The blueprint is literally mapping out the visual structure for you. All right, we've got our pages and we've got our content blocks. Now for the most important part, the interactive elements. The text boxes, the drop-downs, the buttons, all the things that users are actually going to click on and interact with. And this is where the field element comes in, and honestly, it is the star of the show. This one tag is a total chameleon. By just changing one tiny part of it, an attribute called type, we can make it transform into almost any UI component we could possibly need. Let's see it in action. We'll start simple. If we set the type to text, our blueprint tells the system, hey, create a standard text input box. And that's exactly what you get. No surprise there. But now, watch this. We change one word, just text becomes secret, and boom, the system now generates a password field and it automatically masks the characters as you type. It's the same tag, just a totally different behavior, all by changing that one little type attribute. What if you need the user to choose one option from a list? No problem. Set the type to radio, give it the options, and our blueprint instantly generates a whole set of radio buttons for you. And of course, for a simple yes or no option, setting the type to checkbox gives us, you guessed it, a checkbox. What's so cool about this is the efficiency. We're not writing any logic for this stuff. We're just declaring what we want. And the list just goes on and on. The field element can also become a validated number input, a special field for URLs, a box for entering a list of items. The possibilities are huge. This one simple tag gives our blueprint some incredible versatility. Okay, so far, we've built a static form. It looks good, it's functional, but it doesn't really react to the user. So now, for the real magic trick. making our blueprint create a form that is actually intelligent and dynamic.
We're talking about a conditional UI. So imagine a form where clicking an option in one place makes entirely new fields just appear or disappear somewhere else. This is the kind of logic that usually requires some pretty complex scripting, but our blueprint handles it with a surprisingly simple instruction. Let's walk through an example. On our form, the user gets a choice for authentication type. First, they select basic, and as soon as they do, the form shows them fields for username and a password. Makes sense, right? But then the user changes their mind. They select OAuth 2.0 instead. Instantly, poof, the username and password fields just vanish. And in their place, a completely different set of fields appears, client ID and client secret. The form literally reconfigured itself on the fly. So how did it do that?
Well, here's the secret. It is not magic. It's just two more attributes in our blueprint. Take a look at the code here for that username field. See those two extra instructions, parent key and parent value?
This is the whole trick right here. The parent key equals auth type part is like telling the username field, hey, I want you to watch the authentication type field. Then parent value equals basic tells it, and I only want you to appear when that parent field has the value basic. It's a simple parent-child link written right into our blueprint that creates this incredibly powerful, dynamic experience for the user. So we've seen how a simple text file, a blueprint, can define everything from pages and sections all the way down to individual fields. It can even create dynamic conditional logic without any complex code. It's a really powerful reminder that sometimes the most elegant solution is just about clearly describing what you want instead of getting lost in exactly how to build it. So now that you know how the blueprint works, what would you build?